Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome into Happy Sports Lounge here on West Main, just off the square in Murfreesboro. It is the day after the storms, and hope everybody out there got through everything okay last night. We were fortunate here in Murfreesboro to only get a lot of rain and some wind, but others in our area were not quite as fortunate. We had some more violent weather, and also while we are obviously representing Middle Tennessee State here in our community, we certainly want to send our thoughts out because we have such a good relationship with Rutherford County Schools, Director of Schools Jimmy Sullivan and his family. Their son, Asher, was involved in an accident last night and does need your prayers. So please keep the Sullivan family in your prayers today and your well wishes as well. Today is our fifth installment of our spring sports show, and today we're winding up spring talking about a couple of fall sports, and that would be soccer and volleyball, who have finished up a spring season, and want to welcome Coach Aston Roden down to the far end, and Lauren Spanstra, who is here, and glad y'all could come out today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Aston, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Lauren, you've just finished up your spring semester. All good on the academic front?
Yes, I just graduated, so I'm super
Oh,
excited.
you're very
to be done.
good on the academic front then. Now, which
Yes.
graduation were you in?
I think it was Saturday. I didn't walk, though.
Okay, you
So.
didn't?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I don't know. I couldn't sit through that.
Well, your parents would want you to sit through
No,
that.
they didn't.
They didn't. Well,
No.
For folks who haven't seen it, another part of graduation this weekend, Saturday afternoon's commencement speaker was songwriter and artist Hardy, who went to school here at Middle. He's a Mass Comm grad, and he was the speaker on Saturday afternoon's commencement and did the video of his speech is out there on social media. If you get a chance, I think for just about anybody, the words that he put out there would fit for anybody, whether you're graduating from high school, college, or whatever. But he is a proud Middle alum, and we're certainly awfully proud of him. All right, we're going to talking soccer here, and Aston, the spring of the year for you guys, you go through a spring season, but it is not the season that you go for conference championships. It is kind of like it's more than spring practice, but kind of characterize what spring soccer and spring ball is for you guys.
Essentially, it's the same as the fall for us. I mean, we take every game seriously.
Right.
The only difference is the results don't really matter, as far as standings go, but for us they do matter because it's a part of our progression towards the fall. So we take the spring extremely seriously.
Yep. But the fall is the championship season when you play for the conference championship and the tournament and that kind of thing.
Yes,
correct?
the fall does
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha. Lauren, you guys finished out this past season very well. You had a couple of shutouts, went 2-1-1 in your final four of the season, and winning 3-0 at Jacksonville State, 2-0 against FIU. Was this team hitting its stride at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think we kind of struggled at the beginning of the season, but towards the end we started to kind of find our rhythm, and so that makes me really excited kind of coming into this last fall for me,
So
where we can go.
Yep, and so you've got 1 year left.
Yes.
You'll be a grad student.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to, since you graduated and got your undergrad, what was it in?
Accounting.
Accounting, and
Yes, sir.
you are going to get an MBA?
Yeah, I'm going for my master's in accounting. So.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I mean, it is totally, when you're in accounting, it is totally different from. I don't know whether soccer is a respite from what you're having to study, or if the accounting is a respite from Coach Roden.
I don't know, maybe a little bit of both for each.
Gotcha. This year you started 16 of the 18 matches, led the team in assists with 5, finished tied for second in Conference USA in assist. and also was named the Defensive Player of the Week on October 24th after you had a multi-assist game against Jag State and an all-second team conference selection. So it is those are some nice accomplishments. What do you want to do with your personal game as you go through this spring? What were the things you wanted to work on the most, and what are you looking at this summer to try to help yourself out?
I think the biggest thing for me was kind of building relationships with some of my teammates. A lot of my good friends on the team had left after the fall, so just focusing on kind of growing my relationships and stuff like that with the girls who we have left.
Good deal. Good deal. Aston, talk about the team you had a little bit as far as the makeup, and she mentioned that some have gone on to other things now, and building your team for this coming fall. Talk about the work that you've had to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, the fall we were a very young team, you know, and a lot of people seem to forget that. We had 20 players that were freshmen, sophomores out of a squad of 30.
Wow.
Right, with 5 graduate students. So I think a big piece of our progression this spring is just being able to grow up, in the mental aspect of the game, the physical aspect of the game, the speed of play. So that was a big piece of it for us in the spring. I feel like we made a tremendous amount of strides in those areas. So much like Lauren, I mean, we're all expecting a lot more, a lot better from our team this coming fall, because I think we've grown up quite a bit.
People may not realize how big a difference when you are heavy freshman, sophomore. If you are heavy sophomore, junior, that's a big difference.
It's a massive difference, and you could see it. It was indicative of the last few games of the season. I mean, they really just needed more time than I thought they did. And as the season progressed, you could just see the team morphing. And if anybody saw them play this spring, you would see a more mature team, a more resilient team, a more attacking team, and it was just, they needed time, So I think I'm pleased with where we are. I'm pleased with the spring. We're not looking so much forward ahead in the fall. We're just trying to stay in the present moment and figure out the summer and see where it goes and how it impacts the fall.
Yeah, with it, but at the end of every school year, your roster is going to change some. So what has that meant from a recruiting standpoint? You are going to be a little older, and so how many spots were you looking to have to fill for this fall?
Well, we brought in 10 new faces, and we try to balance our youth with some transfers. So we'll have, I think, 2 graduate transfers, a total of 4 transfer kids that are going to bring anywhere from 2 to 4 years of collegiate experience, some really quality young freshman players. I think a lot of people enjoy watching, but I think the core of the group and just the growth that they've made along with these new kids, if we can do what we do in the summer, then I think the fall we'll get back to where we need to be.
Lauren, you've been in this program for a while now, out of Independence High School over in Williamson County. Do you how much of a difference can you tell in your own mind of where you were 3 years ago as opposed to where you are now from a confidence level, just how you carry yourself and not being tentative on the field and being able to know where you are and just kind of the things he talked about?
Yeah, I think confidence was a big thing for me that we talked about a lot when I was younger. That's something that has taken me a little bit of time to gain, but I think now that it's there, that's been a big factor for my growth and development over the past 4 years. But yeah, I think just maturity off the field and on the field has helped as well.
Yeah, and as he talked about, you had 20 players who were freshmen or sophomore, and to have 20 of your, 2/3 of your roster will be a year older, and you're seeing this in all sports now, especially the way that the transfer portal has started happening. You look like, for instance, last year in the NCAA tournament, both in men's and women's basketball, you had teams that made the Final Four there that were old, but not too old. You had teams that were mature, they had experience, and I think rosters are being built in that way. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that maturity is something that you can learn over your time. Not everybody comes in with it, but I think it's something you have to look to the older girls for. So that helps a lot when you have people ahead of you who can teach you things like that.
Yep. Besides Aston, besides Lauren, Manon Labarge made the all-conference team. Talk a little bit about her and what she brought to the table this year.
Oh, I mean, Manon is a phenomenal player, you know, and I think we haven't honestly seen the best of her yet. And she's one of those persons that was a freshman as well, you know. But I think she matured over the spring, or actually, I'd say she started maturing late fall, and started banging in a lot of goals. And you know, in this spring, you could just see her quality rise. You know, so I think with her being healthy, staying healthy, I mean, she's going to be a key player for us.
Well, obviously, the folks around the league recognized what a lot of your kids were doing, especially at the end of the year, because Lauren Manon, Caroline Manley, defender, and Eleanor Guff named All Conference USA third team. So obviously, they too were able to come along.
Yeah, I mean, it's soccer is just one of those sports where typically your results doesn't indicate necessarily how good you are. I mean, you could have a fantastic game and lose. You could have a crappy game and win. You know, and I think just the coaches recognizing the quality of those players, and there's so many more in our team that I think deserve more recognition. You know, but I think at the end of the day, the big thing for us was just the growth that they experienced and the maturity that they developed. And now, you know, we just have to put that together going forward.
Yep. As far as all conference honors, Sadie Sturbins was named to the Conference USA all freshman team. What kind of teammate was she?
Oh, I love Sadie. She's hilarious. She's going to be a great player. She already is, and you can see so much growth just in 1 year. So I'm really, really excited to see her second and how that goes for her.
Good deal. And so she's come along as well as everybody else during spring ball. Off the field, off the pitch, you guys have done some unbelievable things in soccer, including Sasha Nielsen. She was the recipient of the Conference USA Fall Spirit of Service Award, which honors student athletes with significant community service endeavors, good academic standing, and participation in their sport. And we'll go through some other things as well, but that individual honor for her, Aston, that's something that only there's one person from each school each semester that wins that award, and that's out of a lot of student athletes who are doing some great things, and to be selected for that is very special.
It is, and you know, when you sit and you speak with Sasha, she's probably one of the most humble person you'll ever meet, but she certainly loves to serve. I think, you know, all of us embody the spirit and the core value of our team, which is service. So it's you know, when we're recognized for something that we hold dear to our heart, whether individually or collectively, it's something I'm always proud of, because it means they're living what they believe in.
Yep. And Lauren, at the Writers' Choice Awards this year, you all as a team got to come on stage a couple of times. One of those was for academic recognition, and the other was that soccer, women's soccer, had the most community service hours, and you won the Community Service Award. How special are those things to go along with what you're doing athletically, to dovetail with what Coach is talking about?
Yeah, I think it is like what he said. That means a lot to us because it shows that everybody's bought into our values. So if they're buying into the things that are off the field, it means that they're going to also buy into the things on the field. And really, we're all just living the values that they're preaching to us. So it's really great.
I remember reading off the list of things that you all accomplished from a community service standpoint. There were a lot of things that were part of growing the game, working clinics, things like that. How important is it to you to give back to the game with younger players and kids, because somewhere along the way somebody did that for you.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it for me, is that I wouldn't be here without the community I had when I was that age, and people who were in my position when I was that age, to push me and to give me a belief that I could get here. So I think that's really big, especially for young players and young girls and young boys, to see that they can get there and that it's possible. So
What was the most non-soccer related community service type things that you did? What did you enjoy most?
the last thing we did this spring was the Miracle League baseball. We didn't actually know we were going to play baseball. We showed up and it was baseball, and I think that was the most fun we'd had, I would say, of all the community service we did, to almost kind of get away from soccer for a little bit, and to help those kids have a good day and see smiles on their faces was awesome. So.
Well, for folks who don't know what the Miracle League baseball is, the Miracle League field is out by Sportscom on Memorial and DeJarnett, and it was built with a great benefactor, David Price, who played high school baseball here in town and has been a longtime major league pitcher. And what happens is, well, I'll let you explain to people when you all got there for the Miracle League game that day, what you all did with the kids who had special needs.
Yeah, I mean, we buddied up with a kid, each of us, and we just helped them play their game. We encouraged them, we danced with them, we sang with them, lots of high fives, fist bumps. Yeah, we just kind of encouraged them and helped them have a great day.
Yep, it's in Aston, to me, I mean, I've gone by there several times and watched. I mean, it's completely moving, because, you know, and I think it's very humbling to our student athletes who help out. Several different teams help out there, and because it kind of gives you an idea of how fortunate you are and what you have, and what it means to these kids to have you all come help.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think it was the most fun our girls had. It was really funny watching them being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You know,
embrace the uncomfortableness.
Yeah, and I think just it lends itself to, you know, this aspect of gratitude, you know, and recognizing that there's so much that we have to be grateful for that has nothing to do with our sport, and also about just being grateful for people. I mean, those kids, and when I say kids, I mean they went from 8 to like maybe 50.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they could come out and enjoy stuff, you know, without worrying about anything that was going on in their lives, I think was really moving for me.
Yeah. So many of our student athletes have, you know, at many different points throughout your career, you know, you've been made a big deal of. I mean, and for these kids, as you mentioned, kids from 8 to 50, that for them to be on that field, and it's a big deal. It is a very big deal for them, and you know the field is a tartan surface to where you can have wheelchairs and everything else out there, so they all get to participate. How moved did you feel when you left there?
Oh, I felt so good, and so did the rest of the girls. They kept saying to me, and still do, that was just a great experience for them, that they would love to do more of it. So.
Speaking of experiences, last fall, I think, when you played Vanderbilt, you played at Geodis Park. What was that like, that experience? Because I know you love your Friday night and Sunday afternoon crowds over at the Dean Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium, but kind of a unique experience to play in the professional park in Nashville.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's definitely a highlight of my college career. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people have been to games at Geodis, and to watch other people play in there is cool, but to be down on the field is something else. It was really cool.
So what about the surface? Was it?
It was perfect. It was so perfect.
I figured
almost too perfect.
And Aston, with that in mind, is there another match potentially there, or talk about how you work about putting your non-conference schedule together? I know you've got some long-standing local rivalries that have come about, but every once in a while there's, you know, the the outlier that is like, oh, that's going to be exciting, and look at that. So how do things look? Have you got everything put together for the fall?
Yeah, I mean, every year we try to stretch ourselves, and in the hope that our non-conference can prepare us for conference. So there's always going to be anywhere from 2 to 3 SEC teams on our schedule. There's always going to be teams that are within the top 3 of their particular league. Because we felt like, these are the teams that are going to force us to compete every single weekend, which is really what the conference does. So, I mean, this coming fall we'll have Vanderbilt again, no Geodis. And I think that's our one SEC opponent for this year. And, you've got some strong teams, Southern Indiana, Bellarmine in their own league have done really well. And
those are still easy trips, not only for you guys, but for them if they come here. Southern Indiana is in Evansville, and Bellarmine is in Louisville. So, each one of those 3.5 hours away.
Yeah, I mean, we also try to make sure our non-conference schedule is such that our true, deep, loyal fans can still travel and get there, because we need our fans every single place we go. And, so I think being able to put some teams that are within close proximity also develop rivalries, which builds our mentality in terms of the conference games. So being able to just have some regular in-state opponents that create some rivalries that challenge us in a totally different way than the rigor of a Conference USA game.
Yep. And this year, you obviously you said that leads up to the conference schedule. Who you're looking out for? Well, first of all, talk a little bit about how the league changed this last year, and with you had comings and goings, and you're going to have you'll have Kennesaw come in this year, so we'll be back up to, you'll have one more team. How will that affect your conference schedule, adding them into the mix?
Well, I think the one thing that hasn't changed is the coaches are all very talented and they are very good at their jobs. What has changed is the style of play. I think the conference is a lot more direct in its play, so there's a lot more physicality, there's a lot more athleticism, there's a lot more running, and that's not necessarily our game, right? And so that's something that we have to make some adjustments in, or actually, no, we're not. We're going to just get better at what we do and make them adjust to us. So I think that's the biggest difference with this league. The games are still tough. The travel in makes a difference. When you're going to New Mexico State and you're going to UTEP all in the same weekend, that's a rough weekend. And a lot of these
Better than
places,
having to make 2 trips out there, though.
well, yeah, this year we're making one, and that's a lot better than in the past where we had to make 2 separate trips.
Yeah.
And that does factor in the fatigue level type stuff. And and certainly one could argue that everybody has to do it, but if you look deeper than that, it's about the order in which you do it. It's about the time of year in which you do it. So those all play a factor, and those are some of the things that we have to manage really well, and I think we have the squad to do that, or at least do it better than we did last year.
You've got some key newcomers coming to your ball club, and I'm going to give you their name. Give me a 1-sentence description of what you expect them to bring to the table. Ariana Kinsley, she's a forward from Daytona State.
Physicality and goals.
All right. Ariana Dunez, she is a freshman from Oakland, right here in town.
Creativity and goals.
I hear a trend of goals here. That's kind of put the biscuit in the basket, right?
Yep.
All right. Lexi Dendis, she's from New Jersey. She was named to the New Jersey Girls Soccer Coaches Association All-State team twice, I think.
Goals.
And more goals.
And more goals.
All right. Maddie Elbro, she is a big wingspan goalkeeper over at 6 feet tall.
Safety
net, good deal. Emma Brown, she is she's a transfer defender from Nova Southeastern down in Florida, so she's playing year round.
Playmaker, consistency,
All right. And other newcomers include Allie Carroll,
toughness.
Jess Gray, a defender,
Oh my God, creativity, goals.
midfielder Ryan Colton.
Creativity, goals,
Good deal. Goalkeeper Demi Gronauer
consistency,
and defender Allie Draper.
toughness, creativity, goals.
All right, Lauren, do you concur on all of this?
Yeah, the only one I've actually seen play is Ariana, and I'm really excited to have her on the team.
When you get to when kids come in for visits, and I'm sure it's like any other sport, they pair them up with a current player sometimes, and you go to dinner, things like that. What do you like to show off in Murfreesboro when you take a player out to dinner or a recruit?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, I have to say we always take them to the Boulevard.
Do you?
Yeah, we do. They enjoy that.
And you can come here too, and then and get them on the golf or get them in bowling and have some competition there.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I've been here, so I might have to bring some now.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. What are you going to be this summer? You talked about building some relationships. What about honing your own game? Or what do you like to do that?
Yeah, I play on a USL team in the summer, based out of Nashville, Franklin area. So I get to play with a lot of the girls I used to play with in high school and just stay fit and stay sharp. So.
Good deal.
Yeah.
And what do you got? Are you going to be doing any travel?
Yeah, I mean, we're still recruiting.
Okay.
You know, that really never ends. So that's going to be most of the summer for us.
And this is an Olympic year too, right?
It's an Olympic year.
Okay. Kind of handicap the world soccer situation with the Olympics coming up.
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of soccer still playing here. There's Copa America, that's here in the U.S. this summer. So that's a massive South American-based tournament. So that's going to be great to see. And then, of course, just the new look NWSL is still going on. MLS here and NSC still going on. So there's a lot of soccer that's still going on. You can watch a little bit and every now and then kind of flip the TV to the Olympics.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Again, our thanks to Lauren Spanstra and Aston Roden for being here today. And your schedule will be coming out soon. They'll be making it public, so we'll be looking forward to that. And again, those Friday night matches over at Dean Hayes Stadium and the Sunday afternoons are awfully a lot of fun. So appreciate you guys coming out today. Have a good summer.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
thank
me.
All right, and congratulations on graduating.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
pay your alumni dues. Okay. All right.
Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
having us.
All right, Lawrence Spanstra and Aston Roden have joined me. Thank you very much. You all can get out. We'll get Chuck up here and talk about some things. But a couple of reminders that the Blue Raider Blitz we've got the dates, and that's what is it? The 28th, 29th, 30th of May. Let me of this month of May. So that's earlier than normal. And Rachel Wright is here, so she's giving me hand signals. The opening day will be 28th right here at Happy Sports Grill, and you need reservations if you want food, correct? RSVP online. So the 28th is right here in Murfreesboro. The next day will be Tullahoma at lunchtime, Shelbyville for dinner at Riverbend Country Club. That was one that sold out a year ago. The midday one in Tullahoma will be at the Ascent Federal Credit Union headquarters. Then on the 30th, it will be a midday one that last year was a really good one in Smyrna at the Smyrna Event Center. And then on the night of the 30th at Tailgate Brewery out off Charlotte Pike in West Nashville. And we'll have a big media panel. And Chuck, y'all can come on up. And we'll have a big media panel there. All of the TV sports anchors in town. Corey Curtis from Channel 2, Chris Harris from Channel 4, Steve Lehman from Channel 5, and Jill Jelnick from Fox 17 will be part of that. And we'll be talking all things college sports as well as what's going on in Blue Raider land and their thoughts and the way that they cover Middle Tennessee athletics. All right, now happy to welcome in Coach Chuck Crawford. the head coach of the Lady Raider Volleyball, who has found a way to not only maneuver the headset with his sunglasses here, but it's looking very, very good, Chuck.
Yeah, they're my security blanket.
I understand that. And our student athlete is Hen Abramovich. And how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, and appreciate you being here today. Now, tell us where you are as far as your travel through college and how things are going there.
So I'm graduating next semester. I played here for 2 years at MTSU. I'm a grad student.
Yep.
And next season I'm gonna be a GA. So I'm still gonna be around the team. Still gonna get to be around him.
We're extremely happy about that.
You're extra happy about that?
Yeah, Hen is special, man. She's a very unique young lady, has an amazing story, and having her to be a part of our program still is an incredible blessing.
Did you ever think about coaching being in your future when you first came here?
No, I never thought I'm gonna get to coach at any point. I mean, we all coach camps, and it's super fun. But I think being a GA, it's not just the coaching aspect. I think I enjoy the luxury of having played here and also having still impact on the players here. So I think it's more so that, not just the coaching aspect of it, and still get to be around the team, around the staff. So just being here.
So you're going to graduate in the summer, is that right?
In the fall.
In the fall.
After
Okay, so
season.
you'll graduate in December.
Yes.
And but so you talk about impact, and what impact has this place been on you, because you're not from here and not from around here? So it has made an impact, obviously, to light some sort of fire. So tell me what it's meant to you to be here.
Oh yeah. So I got to MTSU 2 years ago, exactly, summer 2 years ago, and I mean, clearly I stick around, so I don't hate it. No, I love it here. I think it's a really cool place. It's a special place. It's MTSU athletics and the volleyball program that made me want to stay for so long. I went to 2 different schools before that. So I started at the University of Nebraska, transferred to Cal Poly, came here after I graduated, and I enjoy every moment here. I think what the program is building and the culture just made me really want to stay around, and that's why I'm very blessed to stay around for next semester and still get to be a part of it. And I know I always be, and I always come back here, but I think just everyone shows their love and support, the community, the admins, the MTSU athletics, the fans. It's kind of a combination of everything, the teammates, the coaches. So it's just been a truly great experience.
Chuck, we have this recorded, so there you can send that out. Is there a better endorsement
I'll use it
than
as
you
a-
can get that from your own players?
I'll use it as a recruiting tool. No, but you can tell what I'm talking about with Hen. It's like when I said that she's such a special person, Hen was in the military before she started college, and she has a life experience that most college kids don't get to have. And so her responsibility, her leadership, and one of the things that I'll miss on a daily basis is seeing her face flushed red because I'm running through drills. But the one thing I'm grateful for is that we get to keep her from the standpoint of her leadership. Hen has this very incredible understanding of life at a young age. The discernment that she has is it's not the norm.
Well, and when you have someone like that, you want them around because you want that to rub off on everybody else that's in that locker room.
Well, I mean, even last spring, there were practices where I'd say, Hen, what do you think? And she'd give me her opinion, and she doesn't beat around the bush, which is great. And I'd say, okay, Hen, talk to him, and she'd pull the group together and say, listen, this is what we got to do.
Yep.
Because when you lose so many players that we did, with Hen, it's again, having her in the gym and not losing that leadership component where she can still teach our younger players is huge.
Yep.
And it paid off this spring.
She was a big part of what you guys did last year, but she was not alone. And last year was a breakthrough year, first 20-win season in about 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
And you guys went 20-10 last year. Talk a little bit about when there's every team somewhere along the way has kind of an aha moment. And when did you feel like this team had some things figured out?
Well, for me personally, I mean, I don't know what you think. It was last spring when we did our why statements.
Yes.
I think that's the thing that was the catalyst. And basically, the why statement was there's a social psychologist named Simon Sinek, and then we studied some other social psychologists, Amy Duckworth, and they talked about grit and why you do what you do. Most adults, you know, we can explain clearly and articulate clearly why we do what we do. This young generation, they have a hard time with that. And once they understood why they did what they did, and it's not just for winning, they all developed a why statement, and we would remind each other of those why statements on a regular basis. And I think when we were, you know, struggling a little bit about whatever it may be, or an individual was struggling, we would remind each other of that. And I think that was the catalyst. I think that's what got it going.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think we made a lot of growth, and it's the grind always starts in the off season. And we started last spring, and we did a white statement, and it kind of got everyone the same page.
And that's when you all are literally in a classroom setting, and you're there writing it down.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we spent more time up in the film room than actual practice. And I think the mental part of the game, developing that helped way more than just working on individual skills. And I think that's where we started our growth and preparation for the following season, and it showed that it really helped us.
And I think, you know, it may surprise some people how much work you all, or any of our athletic teams, does off the court, off the field, off the floor, that there's probably as many or more hours put into that to get there, as well as the physical side of it, because you've got to be the total person to be able to do all that.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing with that is, you know, the NCAA allows us 20 hours per week in our 20-hour segment. Our 8-hour segment's a little bit different. That's not enough hours to do everything you have to do. It's just not. And so our culture that's been established over the last few years, is that our players will come in for extra reps. We don't tell them they have to do it. They do it on their own because they have a desire to be a champion. And, you know, there's just so many hours in a day. We could max out our training days in practice 3 hours a day, but we don't. We try to give them a life. We have days where we will give them, like last spring, I was like, okay, you get one like mental health day. And they could come into practice, you know, or text us and be like, I'm not coming in today, I'm taking my day. And little things like that, the way we handle academics, the little things that we do a little bit differently than other programs, I think this year we got to all see it all come together.
Yeah, and you know, to be part of that breakthrough year as a player, that has to be, there's some gratification to that.
Yeah, I think it's really special. I mean, obviously it took all of us to do that, but I think something that really attracted me as a recruit is to see, since our coaches got here, how much the program has grown, and I think it's going to keep growing. So I wouldn't say I was very surprised that we had a great year, because we really worked hard for it and we had the right guidance. But it was really, really cool. I mean, everything that happened is because all of us, and that means coaches, players, staff, anyone that's involved with the program, we're kind of on the same page and just want to reach our goals.
Before you all went to Auburn last year, did you all realize that Chuck had been there as an assistant before? You all aware of that?
Yes.
So there was a little extra something. You all wanted to make his trip to Auburn a little bit better. You go down there and you beat number 25 Auburn 3-1, and that I mean, you had obviously a lot of great moments during the season, but anytime you can knock off a top 25, and one that has a little special something to it, and that one did.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, as a player and as a team, we approach every game the same. We just go out there and have the same mentality. It doesn't matter who's the opponent we're facing. We just want to play our game, and it showed when we did play our game, we did some pretty cool things. So, I mean, obviously he coached there, and we always want to make him proud, but it wasn't any different from any other match, and obviously winning it was very cool. But I think that was kind of the the match it showed us here, you are good. You can do really good things. So I think for us, it was definitely very cool to be a top 25 team, but we didn't approach it any different than any other game.
Yep. And Chuck, for you, I've been around coaches for 40 years, and when you go back to somewhere where you've been before, you really want your team, you really want to show those folks, hey, I know I was here part of this nest before. I'm out on my own now and doing things, and you want those folks to look and say, man, he really has gotten it going. That had to be a proud papa moment there.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, but honestly, you know, I mean, I have 5 children, and when they do, you know, like any other parent, when your children do great, you love them. When they do poor, you love them. And I think that the thing that separates our program from other programs is the genuine care that we have for each other. It's not my care for them. It's, you know, I mean, if I ever, you know, have a day where I don't feel well, I'll get a text from Hen. Hey, listen, you know, just thinking about you. Hope you're doing okay. That kind of relationship is what allows you to beat a top 25 team, allows you to go 20-10, allows you to do the things that we've done over the last few years. So going into Auburn, was it great in terms of, you know, knocking off a team that I coached at, a top 25 team? It was. But I remember distinctly sitting on the bench, and I was watching the girls play. And I would glance down at the bench and watch the players down the bench. I'd watch them on the floor, and I literally at 23-20 or something like that, I literally sat there and I just started praying. I was just like, praise God, Lord, thank you so much. Because the one thing I kept telling these guys this year was, I want one more day. I want one more day. I want one more day, one more day. Because when it was over, I knew definitively that was it for that group. And fortunately, I get to still have, you know, Hen and Aaron around as GAs and whatnot. But when it's over, it's sad, you know. And so the relationships mean more to me than the victory. The victory was cool. It was great. It was wonderful. But being able to stay in the moment to realize that those young ladies out on the floor right now, how hard they're working, is about the relationships. And that I didn't want to let go. And fortunately, we were able to keep playing throughout the season. And it was great. It was wonderful. But that probably was more important to me than the actual win itself.
Yeah, I understand that. I get it. Also, you had 5 different players that were named to all conference teams. Taylor Isert, Kayla Henley, and Adri Rhoda were tabbed first team. And you got to help me here.
Lau Jensen.
Okay, and Kaylee Oscarson were on the second team. And I mean, you got multiple young ladies who are getting honors, and so it tells you the base is there.
Well, I mean, it is, and I think that and I think you used the right word, the base, the foundation. You know, with the days of the transfer portal, you know, you have coaches that are win at all cost, and they'll take anybody regardless of, you know, their moral compass. And one of the first things we do is we jump on social media. Mm-hmm. And so when we were recruiting Hen, the first thing we looked at was, what does she do in her personal life in terms of what she puts out there on social media? And if someone is a very high level player, but there are some questions about their integrity or their character, things that I have no time to teach. I don't have time to teach Hen what's right from wrong. You know, we got to teach volleyball. And if I have to teach those things, then I'm wasting my time. But the reality is that all those players you just named, Hen, all the rest of the players, they are first and foremost amazing human beings, incredible academic, successes, but their character, their morals, their ability to give more than they take is why we've had the success, and we've had 5 players. But again, I just keep hammering that it goes back to the relationships. We're not at all, win at all costs program. We've had 1 kid transfer in 5 years, which is crazy low compared to what most programs are doing across the nation. And I think that's because these kids know how much they're cared for.
That's good, and that's and obviously the words that you talked about, how this felt like home, and you've been here for 2 years, and,
Yep.
and you don't want to leave.
Yep.
So that all fits. Another major accomplishment, because I mean, you fight every day to make the program better and to take that next step. You were able to do that last year with a taste of the postseason, and were able to be part of the National Invitation Volleyball Championships. I know you want to be in the NCAA tournament, that's the goal, but to make that next step into the postseason, was that a next logical step to where you want to get to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is if you build a foundation, a strong foundation, success is going to have long-term long-term success. If our foundation was if it had cracks in or whatnot, so it's taken us a little bit longer to have that postseason success. But for the last 3 years, we've qualified for the NIVC, and yeah, it's a great tournament. Ultimately, the NCAA tournament is the end goal. We had our chance last year, but there's these processes and these steps that teams have to go through in order to have sustainable success in the NCAA tournament. I mean, and it takes so much time to do that, to do it the right way. Because you can do it faster, you can go the wrong way, and you're going to get it, but it's not going to be sustainable. But for us, we had our chance last year. If we had beat Western on the first or second night, our RPI would have been in a range with 2 top 25 wins. The other top 150 wins that we had, we would have been there for conversation to having that large bid. But that was just a step in the process that this team had to go through, and they understand it, and hopefully this year we'll get over that hump.
Well, volleyball made some news today. Just before we got underway, the schedule for the fall was released. So talk a little bit about the process you go through. Obviously, the conference schedule is taking care of itself. Talk about your process of how you like to build your non-conference schedule, whether it's multi-team events or single matches and all of that.
Right. I mean, so at the end of the day, it all comes down to RPI. The NCAA used the KRPI as well last year, but the RPI is probably the most determining factor. And so for us, going back to last spring, we were going to play the toughest teams we could. We beat Indiana, played Georgia and Georgia Tech. Those are all pretty much NCAA tournament teams. We're playing a high conference like the Big Ten. And it really made an impact this year. Well, this spring, we also played some really good competition. We actually went back down to Auburn in the spring and beat them again. And so that was fun. And they had all their returners came back. We only had 2, so that was nice to beat them again. But that allowed the girls to see that, okay, we're still good. We can lose a bunch of seniors and we can still play at a high level. So
well, that's the difference in program building as opposed to managing a roster.
Correct. And so this, we start off with Washington this year, so the first 2 games are against Washington and Montana State, which won.
Are those in a tournament or somewhere?
Yeah, they are out in Montana. Washington, obviously, they were in the Pac-12. Now they're in the Big Ten, and Montana State, I think, went to the semifinals of the NIVC. So it's going to start off pretty hard, but then we just, the harder we make preseason, the more that prepares us for a really tough Conference USA schedule.
You've typically hosted a tournament. Mm-hmm. Are you going to do that again?
We are. Last year was a little bit of a, interesting year, but we are hosting this year, and 4 really talented teams will come in, and it'll be a tough weekend.
Yep. So, what other highlights in the non-conference do you want to point out today?
I mean, we go to Virginia. Virginia is a team that's still kind of in a rebuilding phase, but still a Power 5 team. It always looks nice to knock off Power 5s,
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a good weekend if we come out of there on the road successful. But then it gets into Conference USA, and then we add Kennesaw State into Conference USA this year. They've had a lot of success in the ASUN over the years, and then next year I think we add Delaware to the mix.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, and we'll all figure out how we travel to Delaware before too long. New faces. You've got 8 newcomers, 5 freshmen, and 3 transfers. Kind of talk about the expectations of the freshmen, and also how the transfers can come in and be helpful immediately.
Yeah, so we had 2 freshmen centers that graduated high school early come in this past January, and it was like drinking out of a fire hose for them. I mean, it was they
It's,
were
well, and it should be.
17 years old, just trying to put it together. They did phenomenal. We had a defender come in this past January as well. She did great. And then we have the 5 new ones that are coming in. Two like graduating, going into their master's, grad students that are both middles, and then a freshman middle, and then another defender and another outside hitter coming in that are both going to be freshmen. So, you know, when you look at the players and the pieces that we have now, and you add those players to the mix, I think we're going to do some really good stuff.
Okay, Hen, you're going to be coaching them. So, so what you've seen? I saw you nodding your head a lot as he was talking about those newcomers. Tell me what you've seen from them so far, and how you think they can assimilate themselves into playing every day.
Yeah, I mean, they're both, as you said, very young. They're 17. They're technically in high school, but they didn't show it. So I think that was really cool. I think they really bought in the program and really fit in the culture quick. So that's always good to see as a coach, I'm sure, but also as someone that's part of the staff now. I think they're going to find their way in the court, and they showed really high level of volleyball, considering they're still in high school. But I think their transition was very smooth, and obviously that took our teammates to help them kind of fit in. But I think they did a great job during the spring, and it was really fun watching them. It's always fun to get new young people coming in because it brings more energy, and I had a lot of fun coaching and watching them play.
Okay, tell folks what it's like, the emotions. You got a big Friday night match, maybe Western coming into town, and tell them what the energy is like at AMG.
It's crazy. I mean, it's actually, I can't really explain, but you just feel it, especially since the AMG is, for some reason, everything is so much louder in there. So even if you don't get a sold out crowd, you hear them. And I think because I've been here for 2 seasons, and I think looking back, every match more and more people showed up, and I mean, it's electric in there. It's really just crazy. You have to be there to understand, but it's so fun to play at home, and I really do think we played best at home because of that, and the energy was just insane.
Chuck, I love the fact that you all have made AMG your own, and you've along the way, you know, there have been additions here and there that have, you know, fan amenities and player amenities as well, and to make that place the pit that it is, I mean, it is fun to come over there and watch you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge World War II buff, and that building was built in 1945, so right at the tail end of World War II, and there's a plaque that every year I make the girls come into the lobby and look at. And it's a list of all the students who served in World War II and didn't come back. And we talk about the grit and the toughness that generation had. And we talk about the building itself. I've coached in the shiny new, you know, arenas, and they're great. And they're great. But our culture is gritty and tough. I mean, if you made Hen mad, she'd be somebody up for a nickel, you know. And so I think that
She's been in the military. I'm not making her mad.
yeah. And so I think that the AMG plays into our identity, where it's a loud, in your face, tough, gritty place. It's not super shiny, but I wouldn't want it to be super shiny. I want it to be a place where opponents know that when you come in here, regardless of what your logo is on your shirt, you have got your hands full. The crowd at the AMG adds to that significantly. There are timeouts where I'm screaming, and I have this big booming voice that they can't hear me, and I'm 3 feet away from them. We have to go out in the hallway sometime during timeouts. When our fans come to the AMG and they're really bringing it, they're bringing the passion and the energy, it makes them play better.
Well, and I've been in there nights when, like, the baseball team shows up or a bunch of the football guys show up, and you've got the pep band going, you've got cheerleaders going. It is. I mean, you can't hear yourself think sometimes in there, and not that the baseball guys or the football guys would try to heckle the other team and all. That would never happen. No. But they certainly make it fun for you guys, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Guys, thank y'all so much for coming by today and being able to to kind of shine a light on your program today, and really tickled that you're going to be sticking around. And are you going to be? So you're not going to work on your masters though. You're going to be here through the fall, or do you know if you're going to be here past that?
I'm graduating in the fall, so we'll see what happens after
See what
that.
happens. Win the day. That's right. So, guys, thanks so much for coming over. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it very much. Want to thank our friends from soccer and volleyball who have been with us today. And we've want to thank Happy's Sports Grill here. They have been a great partner for our spring sports show, and they've been with us here throughout the 5 episodes we've had. And again, come on down and visit. You heard some duck pin bowling going on in the background. You've got the golf simulators here. If school's out today, I think, due to the weather we had last night, so bring your kids on down. It's a perfect place to do all of that. And be sure to be back with us on the 28th of this month for the Blue Raider Blitz that will be here. What, 5:30, Rachel? 5:30 it'll start. If you want to be here and if you want to be on the food list, you do need to go ahead and make your reservations. You can do that online. There's information on that. Also, Chuck's schedule was released just around noon today, and it's on GoBlueRaiders.com as well. I want to thank Nathan Wallach, who's been our producer for each and every week here, and thank all of you who have watched throughout the spring, and look forward to seeing you all here as we get toward the fall. So for that, we say goodbye for the Blue Raider Network, and be loud, be proud, and be blue. And there it is. So.